launched YanaTV in 2015. The show grew very fast, and suddenly I was visible everywhere. On the outside, everything looked like it was very successful. A few months later, the server that hosted our website got hacked so badly that we lost everything, including the entire archive. Every backup, every story, gone. I felt exposed, drained, a bit lost, overstretched with my time and energy. So what did I do? I left. I literally got on a motorbike and drove for 3 weeks across the Himalayan mountains in India. And when somehow I didn't die, I took it as a sign that my life must have a purpose. What if everything you thought you knew about success was wrong? What if success was not about money, power, or fame, but about something entirely different? My name is Yana Fry, and before I bring new guests back to YanaTV, I would like to begin with my own story, because my mom always taught me to lead by example, even when it is uncomfortable. What you might not know about me is that for someone so public, I'm actually a very private person. And it feels very scary to be this vulnerable on camera today in front of all of you. However, I also know this is the right thing to do if I want to invite my guests to drop their masks, put aside their rehearsed speeches, and step more into raw, real conversations. I must do it first. So here it goes. I launched YanaTV in 2015 without training, without a studio, without a plan, just a friend with the camera and a feeling in my gut that stories matter. By the way, the friend's name is Francis Cock, and thank you, Buddy, for believing in me so early on. We filmed in people's homes, no scripts, no fancy crew, just real conversations. And to my surprise, people loved it. Back then, I was one of the very first consistent content creators in Singapore. There was no competition, literally. The show grew very fast, and suddenly I was visible everywhere, too visible. Strangers would come up to me in restaurants when I was having lunch with my husband and say, "Wait, you're Yana from YanaTV." And it was uncomfortable. On the outside, everything looked like it was very successful. On the inside, I felt exposed, drained, a bit lost, overstretched with my time and energy. And the biggest of all, I was not ready for that much visibility. And then one by one, setbacks came. First, it was the Facebook that changed their algorithm overnight for the pages, and our huge audience disappeared just like that. It was hours, days, months of hard work, and everything was gone. And now we were asked to pay to play, which I know you know how it feels. And I just felt it was not fair given how much we have already invested in growing our community. And why Facebook was so important to us? Because back then I thought it was the best platform to host videos. And so all our content was on the Facebook page and it just disappeared overnight. So I took a deep breath and pivoted. We built a website and started hosting videos there. A few months later, the server that hosted our website got hacked so badly that we lost everything, including the entire archive. Every backup, every story, gone. It was a disaster. But the hardest part wasn't even technical. It was inside of me that somehow I felt I was hitting my own glass ceiling in my mind about who I can and cannot be in this world. I felt tired and burned out and lost, and I wanted my privacy back. Basically, I wanted to breathe. So what did I do? I left. You could say that I ran away from the world for a while to give myself some time to think and to breathe. I literally got on a motorbike and drove for 3 weeks across the Himalayan mountains in India, nearly killed myself in the process several times. And when somehow I didn't die, I took it as a sign that my life must have a purpose. I just still haven't found it. So I decided to go and look for that. And for the next 7 years, I dive deep into the spiritual world. We are talking monasteries, monks, sacred initiation, ancient teachings, sacred vows. And I thought that maybe the answer was there. However, the deeper I went, the clearer it became for me that there is no difference between the spiritual world and the material world. Professionals want enlightenment, monks want money. Everyone was still longing for what they did not have. And what I realized, the truth is not in escaping life. It's in living it fully, authentically, imperfectly. And that's when I came back. And in 2023, I relaunched YanaTV. Now, you know how they say that life has a great sense of humor? The night after our relaunch party, I discovered I was pregnant. I laughed and cried because it felt like I was pregnant with twins, my baby, and Yana TV. And it was very beautiful and it was so hard. I remember being tired all the time, sleeping 14, 16 hours a day, not being able to exercise or move freely. In the first trimester, I was sick so much, I couldn't tell anyone. And because I didn't want to announce my pregnancy publicly, I sometimes had to actually cancel recordings when guests were already at the studio without giving them clear reason why. It was that uncertain. In the second trimester, we, on contrary, recorded like crazy 6 months of episodes ahead because I knew that soon I would disappear into the motherhood. It was very intense and very tough in a different way, physically, mentally, emotionally, just to get myself out of bed, to put on a makeup, dress, to show up in the studio. Sounds very casual and easy. To me, at that time, being heavily pregnant, it felt like climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, which, by the way, I actually did a few years ago. And I can tell you for sure it was not as exhausting as growing a human inside of my body. And so very often I had to remind myself, why am I even doing this? And look deeper for these answers. This is where those spiritual teachings and trainings came in handy. And in the third trimester, I slowed down, cocooned, and thought, wow, finally I can rest. And then out of nowhere, one of our last interviews, an interview I actually almost did not do with my 85-year-old mother-in-law, this interview went viral. Over 500,000 views because the algorithm realized that this is my niche and wanted me to do more like that. But instead, I gave birth. And my whole world changed at that moment. For the next year, my only job was taking care of a tiny human, breastfeeding, sleepless nights, aches in my whole body, very, very foggy mind. And to be very honest, while my baby grew and I stayed at home, I watched my male friends and also content creators surge ahead. Bigger channels, more subscribers, more views. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, I just created a new human. Isn't that the most important thing in the world? So why don't I feel successful? Why do I feel like I'm not enough? Why do I feel like I haven't done enough? Interesting that my husband didn't have such thoughts. He was back on the road traveling for business when the baby turned 6 weeks. And yes, he was doing it for the family. Yet I was the one at home reflecting on my guilt and my non enoughness. And that was the moment when I knew something is broken in the way we measure success. And it is not just me. I spoke with other women, often highly successful women, CEOs, founders, thought leaders. And you know what they told me? That behind closed doors, they long for a partner they don't have. That often they cry quietly at night because they don't know who to talk to about what truly matters to them. That they cannot sleep without medications because they're so stressed and so anxious. And even though the world applauds them in daily life, they feel desperately alone, broken, run down, often sick, and just somehow not successful enough. And I expanded my search. I spoke with men, And I saw the same there. I watched men sacrifice their health, their families, their souls. And so I asked myself, is the money, fame, the power really worth all this pain? And you know what? Even the enlightened masters, I sat with them at the monasteries and in caves. And those are the people that we often think transcended everything. But even they said to me exactly the same words a CEO would say, that the pressure is so high and everyone expects so much of me, and I have to be 10 out of 10, 24/7. So it hit me. Success does not discriminate. It costs all of us. And I feel it is time we talk about it. And that's exactly what I feel YanaTV should focus on going forward. To have deeper, more honest, more human conversations about what success is for women and for men walking alongside them. It's about what's real, the cost, the doubt, the hidden truths that no one talks about. Because I believe in this in a world where artificial intelligence is already outthinking us. What matters most is not our intellect, it's our humanity, our empathy, our ability to connect with each other and to be present for another human being. And that's why today I found courage within myself to show up here in front of you. And just like my mom taught me to lead by example, to be vulnerable, to go first on camera sharing my story, so that every guest who joins me from now on here in this space feels safe enough to lay down their masks and speak the truth of their soul, to share with us what is behind their success. And one more observation and promise. I have seen a lot of voices from the West influencing the rest of the world with ideas, beliefs, stories, and definition of success. And to me, there is a lot of media dominated by the United States and European narratives. However, I personally live in Singapore at the crossroad of East and West, and I promise you this. You will hear voices here from Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. Voices that the world has too long ignored because success is not an American story. It is a human story. And it deserves to be told in every accent, every skin tone, and every geography. And my North Star is this. 10 years from now, I see YanaTV as a living archive of global voices, thousands of conversations, and a library of human stories. Just imagine a young woman in Dubai listening and realizing she's not alone and she's very capable. A mother in Kenya feeling seen and heard for the first time. A father in India is beginning to understand his daughter and seeing the world through her eyes. And that's why I'm here, and that's why I feel what we are doing matters, because these stories are not just content. They are the reflection of our souls, and they are maps back to us and our own truth. So now I want to ask you the question I will be asking every guest from now on. What does success mean to you today in this season of your life? Is it peace? Is it love? Is it health? Is it rest? Is it raising a child? Is it creating art? Or maybe it is surviving something no one thought you would survive. Whatever it is, I want you to remember that your answer matters. And it may not look like what the world would say it should. And that's okay, because this is how we redefine success together. And thank you for listening. Thank you for witnessing my story. And thank you for walking together with me into this new chapter of YanaTV. And I promise you this, every conversation here will be unapologetically human. Every guest will bring their truth, and every story will remind us that success is not about what you achieve. It's about how deeply you live, how honestly you love, and how fully you show up as yourself in this beautiful world. And this is why YanaTV is here, to redefine success with every guest, with every voice, and most importantly, with you. And do you want to become a part of this conversation? Subscribe, share this truth with friends, and leave a meaningful comment. I will read all of them and respond personally. And remember, you are defining your own success.